is discovered on the steps of a trailer.
She had the deep stab wound in the left side of her neck. Oh my God.
Her identity is unknown. It's not only a whodunit, it's a who is it.
As the investigation heats up, a terrifying pattern emerges.
There are 3 homicides under investigation in less than 10 days.
Let's go, man!
Could this be the same guy? Yeah, it could.
If that is so, we got a serial killer on our hands.
1099 on South Wasatch.
Detectives discover they're dealing with pure evil.
You on occasion have to make a deal with the devil. That's how this works. When you identify someone who is an emotionless animal who kills because he likes it, we need to do something about him. Period. The end. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. John Hudson is just getting home from a night out.
He lived in a trailer park on the south end of Colorado Springs.
And all of a sudden, he notices his back porch light is on.
When he looked out the back door, he saw somebody laying on the steps.
Really? And he's a little bit irritated because, he wants to get to bed. Come on. Hey, man, you gotta eat it. And to his horror, there's a woman covered in blood, and her eyes are wide open.
Oh my God.
He runs to call 911, but it's too late.
In the days of 1975, I'd been employed as a policeman for 2 years. I was 27 years old. I was working the west side of the city of Colorado Springs as a sector officer. You're assigned to a specific geographic zone within the city.
Dispatch to all units. We have a possible 1099 on South Wasatch. All units in District 7, please respond.
In 1975, a homicide was at 1099, but it wasn't in my part of town, so I wasn't permitted to go there. I wanted to go there so bad I could taste it.
Report of a female victim discovered. I repeat, all units in District 7, please respond.
When I heard that call that night, I had no clue, nor did anyone else, that it would become one of the most infamous cases in the history of Colorado Springs.
Within minutes, investigators respond to the trailer park at 1000 South Wasatch.
It's an older area, south of downtown.
The area would be considered somewhat run down.
Hey, thank you. Detective Smith, good to see you.
Officer, so what are we looking at here?
The detective assigned to the case was Lou Smith, and he responded to that scene.
It's a bad one. In fact, it's probably one of the worst I've ever seen.
Show me.
Smith was a brilliant detective. He had more confessions than anybody. They couldn't have found a better guy to pursue this case than Lou Smith.
Oh my God.
Smith looks at this victim. She's white female in her early 20s. She's covered in blood, and she has this gaping neck wound.
Her hair was matted in blood and dirt. And there was blood all over the porch. This was a brutal attack, very savage.
Look at those handprints.
The blood marks on the door frame indicate that she was approximately... Would that have mattered? No, it wouldn't have. She would not have survived that injury if there was a surgeon living in that trailer.
Any person ID found?
No, sir.
Okay, let's expand the search here and get a good canvas going. Now let's get the coroner down here and move the body. Nobody else needs to see that.
Yes, sir. Also, Assistant District Attorney Chuck Heim, he's asking to see you.
Great, send him over.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
I had met Chuck Heim and worked with him on many occasions after that event. I found him to be one of the finest prosecutors I've ever seen.
Hey, Chuck.
If he is your adversary, you're dealing with a king cobra.
Let's see what we got going on here.
All right.
It was office policy that the assistant DA be notified of any homicide that occurred within the 4th Judicial District. My role was to coordinate our office with the Colorado Springs Police Department and work with the different detectives on anything that they might need.
Pardon the interruption, gentlemen. We just found a significant amount of blood.
Let's go, Chuck.
The investigators follow a trail of blood to where it begins, 50 yards away.
This must be where the attack happened. And look at these tire tracks.
Looks like there must be a getaway car.
It's likely she steps out of that car, either already wounded or is attacked outside the car. She then tries to seek help, and the perpetrator flees in the car in question.
Let's rope this place off and look for a murder weapon.
Will do.
You said the trailer owner is the one that called us in?
Yes, sir. John Hudson is his name. Last I saw him, he was sitting on the steps on his front porch.
Okay.
He's the last person to see her before the police got there and started their investigation.
Is it possible that she knew him?
John, I'm Detective Smith. I understand this trailer is yours.
Yeah, I don't even want to go back inside. I feel sick.
I understand.
He's 28 years of age. He is very, very distressed.
Could you, walk me through your night?
I had just gotten home when I saw her on the steps. I thought some drunk or bum had passed out. Then I saw all the blood.
You know her? You ever seen her before?
No, sir. I know everyone in this trailer park, and she ain't one of them.
Yes, Mr. Hudson, have you seen any suspicious activity this evening, or seen anybody in the area that you've not seen before?
Now that you mention it, when I was on my way out, I heard this weird clanking noise. And here's this guy riding a bicycle with a busted pedal. Just odd for someone to be out here that late at night.
People don't have to be instructed on what looks suspicious. You just feel it. It's human nature.
Did you get a good look at him?
Yeah, he wasn't going real fast. Young fella, white t-shirt and jeans, curly hair.
Okay, John. We'll get in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Poor kid.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. The sun should be showing our face here in about half an hour or so. So let's...
And he heard a clanking noise. When he looked, it was a young guy on a bicycle.
There he is. White t-shirt, blue jeans, and a clanking pedal. It's the middle of the night. You're out here riding a bike?
Hey, kid, get over here.
Right away, you're suspicious of this guy. He was seen prior to the murder, and now he's seen after the body has been found. We need to talk to him and find out what he can tell us about this.
What's going on?
What are you doing out here, son? What's your name?
Alex Calzado. I was just on my way to get some beer.
You went out to get a beer at this hour?
Mr. Kelly's body language is very resistive.
Is it because he's involved in this murder? Could be.
Look, man, I don't want any trouble. I'll just get out your way.
Sit tight.
So Lou calls the police headquarters and said, run this guy's name for me and see what you can tell me. And the dispatcher came back right away.
We've got an A. Calzado listed here, active warrant for assault with a deadly weapon.
What type of weapon?
A knife.
You're not going anywhere, kid.
So Alex now has even more explaining to do than he had 2 minutes ago. Who are you, Alex? And what the hell are you doing here? Lou Smith's assigned to investigate the violent homicide of a young female who is unidentified. And a suspicious person, Alex Calzado, has been observed in the area.
Not so fast.
He's wanted on a warrant involving the use of a knife, and he's brought into police headquarters for further investigation.
I was with my buddy Jose all night. The only time I left was to get more beer. I swear.
Alex tells Smith that he has no knowledge of a killing. He didn't kill anybody.
So you're telling me you went on a 5 a.m. beer run right next to a murder scene?
It's the truth. You can ask my friends. You can ask the store clerk.
Check it out.
Well, you want to look into his alibi, so Lou did that.
Checks out.
And that alibi checked out. He had been home all night with his friends.
The gas station is where he was buying beer, and it's open 24 hours a day. The clerk remembers him and remembers the timeline, so he's dismissed as a suspect.
All right. Get him out.
So Mr. Alex Calzado is arrested on a warrant for assault with a deadly weapon, but he's not involved in this killing.
Detective Smith, we're ready for you down tomorrow.
Thanks. Sir, go for a ride.
Let's do it.
Hoping the autopsy will produce a new lead, the investigators head down to the morgue to talk to Dr. Urich.
Hey, Doc.
How are you?
You making any progress here?
I think I may have found a few things that'll interest you. Take a look. Cause of death was that gash there. Severed the carotid artery and she bled out.
She had the deep stab wound in the left side of her neck, like somebody tried to cut her throat.
Any idea what type of knife did that?
It's hard to say. Whoever did it knew what they were doing, though. The placement of that cut is almost strategic.
He also said that he found 4 additional stab wounds in her back.
Attacked from the back? Didn't see it coming.
I'd say that's a safe conclusion.
Dr. Urich finds defensive wounds in her left hand. She tried to stop the blade at some point during this confrontation.
Also, you should know there's some signs of sexual activity.
So you think she was raped?
Couldn't say for sure.
There were semen traces on her pants. Does that mean they were placed there at the time this occurred? There's no way to know that. They were present. That's all Dr. Urich can say.
Hey, Doc.
Oh, one other thing. I found this in her front pocket.
He was unable to find any type of identification, but he did find 1 golden key in her jeans pocket.
There's no telling what this key opens. Hopefully this will lead us somewhere, because so far we have nowhere to go.
I think we got something here.
We have a dead girl whose identity is unknown. It's not only a whodunit, it's a who is it.
Hey, you got any witnesses?
Stodgy at best. I'm still asking around, but, hey Lou, how's your case coming along?
When Detective Smith returned to the police department, he met with 2 other detectives who were also working homicide cases.
Not so good. I got a Jane Doe and I got a trailer park full of people that want answers.
It's a very common thing in homicide investigations. I always tried to learn as much as I could without being obnoxious about it or even obvious. I listened and paid attention.
Can you believe we got 3 people killed in less than 10 days? It's just terrible.
That's extremely unusual in 1975 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Concern begins to build that there's something more to this.
Keep me posted. You bet. Excuse me, Detective Schmidt? I couldn't help but overhear it just now. Do you think these murders are connected? It's too soon to tell. The motives are all different. We have drugs, we have robbery, we have a possible sexual assault. Oh, wow.
When Smith has these conversations about these other 2 killings, there's no real connection to them other than the level of violence and the proximity of days. Could this be the same guy doing these crimes for different reasons? Yeah, it could.
If that is so, we got a serial killer on our hands.
A serial killer is a different breed of cat. He considers what he's doing over a period of time. It's not a single event, it's a series of events.
We need to find him before he strikes again.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you. Can you keep an ear out on patrol? Oh, I will, sir. You can count on that. Oh, thanks, kid.
Lou Smith had an innate ability to reach people, never objected to the fact I was a rookie. He was very accepting. You're one of the Brotherhood now. And I always liked him. He's a remarkable guy.
Back in his office, Detective Smith tries another tactic for soliciting new information.
You've got a lot of pressure on you when you're assigned a case like this. So it would not be uncommon to then call a press release.
Okay, this should do it. Let's get some copies and get KOA on the line.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. When I was in television, we would be talking to the police department several times a day on the phone. Their information officer would, set up an interview with us with one of the detectives.
We are very careful when we release information to the press.
We're asking anyone who may have any information to call the Colorado Springs Police Department immediately.
Detective.
The only information we'd provide about this girl is her physical appearance. How tall is she? What does she weigh? What color's her hair? What's color her eyes? And her clothing. That's it.
Detective, do you believe she was murdered? Do you have any suspects?
That's all I have for right now.
Detective.
As news of the murder spreads, the CSPD is inundated with tips from the public.
There's a natural built-in problem where people are absolutely convinced that it's their cousin, it's their sister, it's their aunt, it's their lifelong friend, and you wind up chasing down a number of false leads.
Okay, well, I'm glad you found her. Take care now.
Any luck?
Afraid another dead end.
Detective, I've got a woman up front. Says she needs to talk to you. What is this today? The knife walk-in? Oh, I better go see if I can roll this one out. Could you sit in my office? Yes, sir. Good.
One of the tips that came in was a gal named Jenny Erickson.
Hi there. What brings you down here today?
I heard about that girl who was killed the other day.
You know the one?
I live right around the corner from there, and you see, that very same day I saw a man walking, and his shirt was covered in blood.
Do you know who he is?
She's seen this individual before, is close by to the area where the victim was found, and she's able to point out the apartment he lives in. Well, somebody covered in blood in the crime scene area would certainly work. So they're very interested in who this guy is.
And you're sure that it was the same day?
Positive.
We'll check it out. Thanks for coming down, Jimmy.
He either has to be part of this or he's not. He has to be cleared or arrested, one of the two.
So Smith went over there, knocked on the door.
Yes?
And sure enough, this individual's got a cut over his eye.
Sir, I'm Detective Smith. Do you mind if I come in and ask you a few questions?
Guess so.
Well, could he have gotten that cut?
Inside, Smith sits down with 31-year-old James Conley.
What's all this about?
Mr. Conley, we have reports of you seen in the same area where a murder took place. You were covered with blood. Can you explain it?
Mr. Connolly reports that he was recently in a motorcycle accident and it adversely affected his equilibrium. He has great difficulty in walking and now he has to use a cane. But he went out the other day to buy some beer at the gas station he frequents, and he had forgotten his cane.
I took a nasty fall on the way. I split my eye open, damn near bled through my shirt.
I see.
Now, any policeman knows that a head wound bleeds profusely. There are many capillaries in your scalp and your forehead, and when you get even a minor injury to your forehead, you are covered in blood, and you look like you're going to die any minute. So that's a very reasonable explanation.
Can anybody verify that?
I suppose the gas station clerk? I bought beer and bandages from him. Actually, I have the receipt. Let me go get that.
I appreciate that.
He needs a cane just to walk. It would be very difficult for someone who has difficulty walking to engage in a physical confrontation with a resistive victim.
Made this purchase at 3:15 p.m.?
Sounds about right.
The timestamp on the receipt told Lou right away that this was much, much earlier in the day than this homicide occurred.
Okay, Mr. Conley. Thank you. Officer?
His timeline doesn't work at all for this murder. His explanation is more than reasonable, and the officers decide that Connolly has no promise whatsoever.
Back at the station, it's all hands on deck to wade through the endless flood of tips.
Excuse me, Detective. There's a woman on the phone for you. She says she's your Jane Doe's roommate.
Another one of these tips?
You're going to want to take this phone call. She's online too.
It's always difficult to take anyone seriously when they call in to report they know who it is, when you've already had 100 people do that, and 100 people were wrong about it.
Detective Smith?
I know it's her. I know it's my roommate. I haven't seen her in days.
Okay, slow down. What's your name?
Pamela Roos. Listen, she always comes home eventually. She carries her apartment key with her everywhere.
What did you say?
It's a gold key, a single gold key. She always keeps it in her front jean pocket.
This is very specific information that was never released to the public. So here we have someone who knows something that nobody knows, that the person carries a key in their pocket. Well, my. After hundreds of people, we may have found the magic one. Smith has been assigned the gruesome homicide of a young female who is yet unidentified.
cause of death was that gash there.
But now, finally, after hundreds of tips, we have a person that seems to be extremely promising.
I know it's my roommate.
She knows things that no one else would know that wasn't associated with the case.
After finally catching a potential break, investigators rush to meet the tipster, Pamela Roost.
Now, Pamela, you told me that your roommate carried her apartment key in her pocket.
Yes, always.
This look familiar?
That's it.
It's very important to get the identification as quickly as possible. And once you've got that, you have something that will start you down the right path.
May I?
Please.
Smith inserts the key in that door, and it unlocks it.
He knew then that he probably just identified his Jane Doe victim.
But Smith still needs her to positively ID the body.
I'm going to show you a photo. Can you do that?
That's got to be just very traumatic and very stressful, and, you know, the kind of thing where your stomach's churning.
Oh my God. That's her. That's Karen.
It's a huge step up in this investigation. Her name is Karen Grammer.
She was just so lovely.
Karen Grammer was your typical 18-year-old starting out life. She was adventurous. She was kind of a free spirit. She liked poetry, and people liked her.
She says she came here to find work in the restaurant business. She's a waitress by trade, and we met and became roommates and became friends.
She has family here. We'd like to notify them.
No, they're mainly in Florida. God, her brother's gonna be devastated. They were very close.
Karen Grammer was, in fact, the sister of Kelsey Grammer, who went on to become a very famous actor. Their father was lost to them when they were young.
So they leaned on each other. They were close.
Who could have done this to Karen? She didn't have any enemies in the world. Everyone loved her.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. Now, when is the last that you saw her?
She said that Karen works the evening shift at a seafood restaurant, and the last time she saw her, she went to work, and she never came back.
I didn't know what to think.
And that was the night of the murder. So we know that Karen Grammer was at the seafood restaurant the night she was killed.
Do you have any idea where this seafood restaurant is?
It's over on Academy.
The seafood restaurant is several miles across town from where she was discovered. So how did she get from the seafood restaurant to the place where she's found in a relatively short amount of time? How'd that happen?
I noticed she wasn't wearing glasses in the photograph that you showed me. Did you find them?
What do you ask?
Her roommate said that she was almost as blind as a bat, that she wore very thick glasses.
Well, those glasses were never found. And then the question becomes, where are they?
Thank you, Pamela. You've been a great help.
With no time to waste, Smith heads over to the restaurant where Karen worked.
Did she show up for a shift? Did she work all day? We can find out a lot from the people that she worked with.
Excuse me, sir. You work here?
I do. I'm the manager. How can I help you?
Smith meets the manager of the place, and he remembers Karen being there that night.
He was a little annoyed that Karen never showed up for the rest of her shifts.
Karen may not have a job with us much longer. We haven't seen her since.
He doesn't realize what's happened to Karen Grammer.
Sorry to tell you this, sir, but Karen's been killed.
Oh my God.
He's incredibly distressed and immediately willing to do anything he can do to help.
You know, Tyler worked that night. Maybe he can help you.
Thank you.
The cashier is Tyler Harrington.
Hi, Tyler. I'm Detective Schmidt.
Tyler had just overheard the conversation that Karen is dead, and he's very distressed.
Oh my God. I didn't think those guys would actually hurt her.
And Smith said, what did you say? What guys are you talking about?
What have I done?
He says the night she was killed, 3 guys came in here and one of them pulled a gun on me and tried to rob the place.
I had already emptied the cash register in it. I had nothing, so they left.
But then he saw them approach Karen and start talking to her.
God.
So Smith's immediate thought is, could this have been a robbery gone wrong? And Karen Grammer was collateral damage? That could very well be true. We're going to have to find out.
Didn't see it coming.
Lou Smith is investigating the violent death of Karen Grammer. He encounters a cashier at a seafood restaurant where she was employed, who says that an attempted robbery took place. It's fairly clear to Smith this could be connected to this homicide.
After countless dead ends, Detective Smith believes 17-year-old Tyler Harrington might be the key witness he's been searching for.
Now, wait a minute. Are you telling me that you saw the suspects talking to Karen after they just tried to rob you at gunpoint?
Tyler Harrington has provided him with what is likely to be the prime suspects in this case.
What I need you to do now is start from the beginning. What happened?
It was getting time for me to lock up, and these three guys walked in. You were close.
Not anymore. Give me all your money.
And one of the males opened his coat and showed him a gun.
I'm not playing. Give me all your money now.
I swear I don't have anything. I swear.
Tyler said, the register's already been cleaned out. There's nothing here.
So it's a botched robbery. There's no people to rob. There's no anything to rob.
How did you get them to leave?
I told them I had someone waiting outside for me, and they got spooked, I guess.
Well, did you?
No, but I didn't know Karen was out there.
Tyler says he looks out the window and sees these guys talking to Karen.
Now, maybe these three guys assumed that Karen was the one waiting for Tyler. Did they decide that Karen Grammer is a witness to their attempted robbery and make a decision to take her?
Why did you report?
I didn't want to get in trouble. I was supposed to have already locked the door. If I would have did that, none of this even would have happened.
What happened to Karen is not your fault, son.
He was just too scared to say anything to anybody. Now, at his age, that's understandable. There's a fear factor there that's unexplainable to somebody who's an adult and understandable to somebody who's a kid.
Now, what I need you to do is try to remember everything about these individuals.
Right. Well, there was three black guys. Definitely military.
Why'd you say that?
He had the impression that they were military, as they had short, high and tight haircuts, the military-style cut, and one of them was wearing a field jacket.
Okay, Tom. If you remember anything else, call me. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So now, going from 0 to 60 miles an hour in this case, we now know we're looking for three black males with military haircuts. When Smith returned to the station, he encounters Detective Burns and Detective Adams, and they're discussing their investigations into their homicides. So they all sit down, because now Smith's got something to say.
Sounds like we're looking for a couple of military guys. Black males, armed.
Oh, that's interesting. The witnesses gave me the same description of my case.
No kidding.
We've got three cases now with seemingly different motives, but they could always be connected. You keep that in the back of your mind.
What are the details?
Victim is a 29-year-old male.
Smith learns that the first victim was identified as Daniel Van Loan, a cook at the Four Seasons Hotel.
11 days before Karen Grammer is murdered, Daniel Van Loan was found on the side of the road by a patrolman just a mile from where he worked. He had a scarf tied over his face and had been shot in the temple.
And only 3 days before Grammer's death, Winifred Prophet, a soldier stationed at Fort Carson, was also murdered under mysterious circumstances.
Detective Adams says that Winifred Prophet was found stabbed to death at Prospect Lake.
They stabbed him in the chest with an Army-issue bayonet.
People in the area said they saw a group of black males in a green vehicle cruising around.
Any idea who they might be?
We're not sure, but we may all be looking after the same guys.
You know, I'm starting to think the same thing.
They start thinking, do we have serial killers on our hands?
If they are the same guys, they are incredibly dangerous. They kill without compassion.
Detective Schmidt, I'm sorry to interrupt. You have a phone call in your office? It's pretty urgent.
Trying to say who they were?
No, sir.
Thanks, Ken. Well, fellas, let's go have to circle back on this.
You got it.
Later that day, Detective Smith gets the break he's been looking for.
Detective Smith?
I'm calling from the New Orleans District Attorney's Office. I have a defendant in custody I think you'll be interested in.
He says that he has information, and he also knows about the murder of Daniel Van Loan and Winfred Prophet.
You got to be kidding me.
Could this be the key piece of information to catching a serial killer? It most certainly could. Lou Smith is investigating the murder of 18-year-old Karen Grammer, but has learned of two other investigations involving the murder of Daniel Van Loan and Winfred Prophet that are connected.
Think you'll be interested.
A district attorney's investigator in New Orleans says he has a defendant in custody who knows everything about all three murders, and he's willing to trade this information in exchange for leniency.
And Detective Smith knows just the person to help broker a deal.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, the police department or Lou Smith cannot grant immunity to any witness. It has to come through the district attorney, Chuck Heim.
You know that grammar case I'm working?
Of course. What's the latest?
You never guess who called me.
Who?
Smith says the New Orleans District Attorney's Office had been tracking an individual through the FBI whose name was Larry Dunn. And what Mr. Dunn wants is immunity for the murder charges.
Lou says, we need to talk to this guy. I said, all right, where is he?
He's in New Orleans.
What do you think he knows?
He said, I think he knows about at least 3 murders. He may have been at them or was told about them by the people that did the killing.
Interesting. Let me just make a quick phone call.
All right, I'm gonna go get back.
Over the next hour, investigator Chuck Heim quickly works out a deal with his boss.
I said, all right, I will give him immunity for anything he has done in the 4th Judicial District if he agrees to give us all the information that he knows about these killings. So we went down on an afternoon flight to New Orleans, and we interviewed him the next morning at the New Orleans House of Detention.
Sure appreciate you giving us a call.
Nice to meet you, fellas. Glad you made the trip. Seems like Dunn's ready to talk.
Let's get in there.
We went in there and shut the door, looked at him, and I drilled him in the eyes, and he looked like he was dead serious.
Okay. You tell us the truth about these murders, and you agree to testify at trial, we'll give you immunity for all the crimes you've committed in the state of Colorado. You interested?
Immunity transactions are conducted with the following caveats. In no uncertain terms. That you need to spill your guts. You need to vomit your information all over this table. And if you leave out one single fact, we're going to burn you to the ground. You on occasion have to make a deal with the devil. That's how this works.
Now, tell me about Daniel Van Loan.
Well, we needed the money. He seemed like an easy target.
Dunn said that he, another guy named Freddie Glenn, and another guy named Michael Corbett waited for Mr. Van Loan to get off of work.
Daniel Van Loan was a cook. They decided, let's go rob him.
Get him out the car!
What are you doing?
Let's go!
Please help!
Hey, blindfold his ass!
Do this!
Get on your knees.
Get on your knees, man! You gotta wipe the children!
They shot him in the head.
Check his pockets, man.
Oh, come on, man! 50 cents!
And robbed him of a mere 50 cents. And left him in a dip.
He had like 2 quarters on him.
What happened next?
There was that one guy, Winfred.
Dunn said they next targeted Winfred Prophet, who was a soldier that they all knew. They had arranged a bogus drug deal to lure Winfred Prophet to Prospect Lake.
Hey, guys. Prophet, give me all your money.
What? There was no deal going down. They didn't have any marijuana. They wanted to rob him.
What are you doing?
That's right, your money!
Freddie, come on, man, please.
Freddie Glenn stabbed him in the chest and then gleefully told people about how lovely it felt when he stuck this bayonet into this guy's chest and felt the bones crunch.
I mean, these guys are animals. It's not that they're trying to get money. Michael Corbett and Freddie Glenn are killing because they like to kill.
I want to talk about Karen Grammer. Why don't we start from the beginning? The night of June 30th.
It was me, Corbett, and Glenn just chilling at the apartment. Glenn got the idea to make a few hits, which is nothing new.
How do you mean?
Larry Dunn said that they were all in the military together out at Fort Carson.
But they were always in trouble. They were robbing fellow soldiers, and they're all together on this evening.
Then Larry Dunn said just prior to leaving the apartment, they each ate a hit of LSD. Sometimes it can make you very violent.
We drove around till we came to that seafood spot.
The one on Academy?
Yeah, that one. Give me all your money.
Give me all your money now. I swear I don't have anything. I swear.
The place was a bust, so we left. Then we seen that white girl outside.
Karen Grammer.
Yeah.
Karen Grammer was standing at exactly the wrong place. At exactly the wrong moment.
Hey. No one even standing out here.
I'm just waiting for my friend to get off work.
She's seen us, bruh. She's seen us.
Wait, so what?
Enough of this. You know what? You come in with us. Come on.
Get on me! Help!
Her fate was sealed the moment she crossed paths with these killers. They saw her as somebody that they could kidnap and brutalize, and that's what they wanted.
And they decided to drive back to Freddie Glenn's apartment, and then the sexual assaults started.
They all took turns, sexually assaulting her every way which you can. And that's all I want to say about it.
Now what? What we gonna do with her?
I don't know, man. She's seen our faces.
Yo, we can't let her go, man. Yo, shut up! Let's get her back in the car and drop her off somewhere.
The initial decision is they're going to just drop her off on the other side of town. They had tied her hands together with a blue scarf, and they had taken off her glasses and put them on the dashboard of the car. So essentially, she's riding around with them and can't see anything.
Please don't let them kill me. I'll do anything you want. Please, help me.
Don't worry. You'll be all right.
They came across this alley next to a trailer park on the south side of the city, and Dunn says they decided this was a good place to let her go.
Okay, man, let's go.
But according to Larry Dunn,
No, man. She's seeing too much.
Glenn goes up behind Karen Grammer and tells her to tip her head back. He cuts her throat and stabs her several times in the back, and she tries to fight him off, getting a few defensive wounds, but is unsuccessful.
Freddie, what's wrong with you, man? Come now! Come on, go!
She is stumbling around, blind, without her glasses, bleeding to death, and they speed away in their car. And she staggers probably toward the light that she sees of a porch light.
To still be alive and crawl along the ground, clawing her way, touching, seeing a door, thinking, maybe I can get some help. That's the hard part, is to know what she went through.
She was able to get to Mr. Hudson's trailer, where she ended up dying.
We have a young girl loses her life for no reason at all.
I think we've heard enough.
Officer.
Larry Dunn agrees to testify against Corbett and Glenn and receives immunity for his involvement in the 3 murders.
This information from Dunn is sufficient to obtain arrest warrants for Freddie Glenn and Michael Corbett.
They track down Freddie Glenn and Michael Corbett, arrest both of them. But they both lawyered up. Well, you know what? We don't need you to talk. We got what we need.
There is more than sufficient case here to put them away forever.
Freddie Glenn and Michael Corbett are convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder. They are sentenced to life in prison.
Michael Corbett died in the summer of 2019 in his cell at the age of 64. Freddie Lee Glenn remains locked up in the Colorado State Penitentiary.
Excellent work, everybody. Yes.
We all played a part. I'm just glad we got justice here.
Here, here.
I was very proud of Colorado Springs Police Department and the Sheriff's Department. Lou Smith was the one that really put the frosting on the cake coordinating this. They did an excellent job starting with nothing and getting people charged.
It was inspiring for me to see the level of competence of the police department. Made me proud to be a policeman.
Just want to congratulate you, sir. Amazing work.
Thanks, Kendra.
It further inspired me to want to get there. I wanted to be one of those homicide detectives. And I was a very fortunate fellow that I was able to do precisely that.
Although her killers were caught, the tragic loss of Karen Grammer will forever haunt those who loved her.
Let me talk about my sister for a second. She graduated at the head of her class, and then she decided to go to Colorado Springs because she had a boy that she liked. She was a terrific kid. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. I miss her all the time.
Karen Grammer is an 18-year-old girl with her whole life in front of her, taken by extreme violence for no reason at all, and killed for the thrill of the killing. The sickest possible form of murder.